What's up, everybody? I hope everyone is doing well. This is Mavis, your host from Bentley Education, and you're listening to the Infrastructure Star Talks podcast. Do you want to visualize and plan your career journey? Well, who can be better than infrastructure experts from around the globe to instill the spark of optimism in you? If you have been thinking about ways to reach these experts and learn from them, think no more. Get ready to ride on the one way roller coaster ride of knowledge and inspiration by learning from these infra gurus. So, today, get ready with us and get ready, young engineers. We are very excited to welcome our guest for today's episode, Mr. Silvio Kimura, VDC BIM Technology Director at PARSEC VD&C and lecturer at B plus T Consulting. He has completed master's degree in architecture from Sao Paulo University. Welcome, Silvio. Thank you so much for you taking your time out and joining us today. How are you?
Hi Mavis, thanks for the invite. It's a pleasure to share
Mhm.
experiences with you and all of the audience. And we are ready to start. It's a lovely
All
day
right.
today.
Okay. So Silvio, you're such a versatile person and have wide range of skills, strong understanding, robust problem and analytic skills, etc. And our audience is very excited to know about your career journey.
Yes.
Well, then let's get started. So Silvio, my very first question to you is, you started as a trainee as your first profession to VDC BIM Technology Director now. What's something that was more challenging than you expected?
Yes, sure. And just to tell the truth, I started the company with a partner who we have a
Mm-hmm.
strong background in the AEC and plant design market since the 90s. So after college, after undergraduating in architecture, I have worked in several offices and studios, design studios, including a construction company. So this experience in as a construction manager, I had to deal with several daily tasks of a construction
Mm-hmm.
site. So I have to manage masons, carpenters, painters, and so on. Basically, the most difficult part in dealing with a construction site was not to know about construction technology or techniques. The most
Mm-hmm.
difficult part to deal with this job was how to manage people.
Right.
To manage people is a complicated task because we have different minds, different knowledge, and different kind of people. So we have to convince everybody that we are a team and we have to work together so the building can be built.
Right.
This experience taught me that it's not about knowledge, technology, or sophisticated processes. It's related to face new challenges and change the establishment within people when we want to introduce uh, new ideas. The
Mm-hmm.
biggest challenges always come from people. So I think that people do not always like changes in their lives or in their work, daily work. There will
Mm-hmm.
always be resistance when we say that their work process will change. So working with technology now, the problems are the same because when you have an experienced professional with 20 years designing the same way, and we propose that we have a new way to work, we have a new tool or we have a new system or a new software. Um, the difficult is to convince, and in first place, that this is a good idea, but we have to work together.
Right.
Every time you have to introduce these new processes, tools, systems, we, the ones who operate these tools, we face the challenge that is to learn something from scratch, and this is what creates obstacles. The
Mm-hmm.
first time I faced this problem, it was a surprise in technology. Usually we think that all we need to do is to offer a more efficient software, hardware, training, practice, and so on. But then I understood that we have to get everybody on the same page from the beginning. The team must have the same objectives because if one part of a structure fails, the whole building is in danger, and we can accomplish our tasks.
Right. So, thank you so much for sharing this with us, Silvio. And you're not only experienced in interpreting customer concepts and ideas and business processes, but also you can identify new opportunities direct through customer contacts. And based on your skill, can you please share what are the important core qualities to serve the customer better and a guru mantra?
Sure. The first and most important of all, I think, is to know how to listen to your customer. Not to hear, I'm using two different words. There is listen and there is hearing. To hear, we just hear what the customer is saying, blah blah blah, and understand
Mm-hmm.
all of the words and try to give a solution to him. But sometimes the customer is telling us something that is much more than his words are telling us. We have to listen and understand what really is the problem. Sometimes we have to be a psychology or something like
Mm-hmm.
that to understand that he's saying something to me. I want to use BIM or I want to use this tool or the other tool. But in the end, he has other concerns in his mind that he's not expressing. And we have to learn how to listen to these problems and try to do a good solution. This is one
Right.
point. Second point, okay, we understand what he wants, what the customer wants. We give our best. We always try to excel. So we try to do more than better or do more than he asked for. But this is a tricky position. There's a problem if you want to be excellent in your work and to deliver to the customer every time
Mm-hmm.
the best possible work and more than he expected. But this creates a paradox because after the first, second, third jobs we delivered, projects we delivered to the customer, he will expect always more or always better. And in some point, at some point, we will not be able to deliver this excellence
Mm-hmm.
because even if we try, we can't we can't be perfect and get the target all the time or better than the target. So in the end, we have to keep a good balance between
Mm-hmm.
the results and the customer expectations. And that point returns to the first point. We have to listen to the customer, understand what he wants, and give what the customer needs, not just in terms of the project itself, but to to get the customer satisfied with the results, even if it's not perfect.
Right. I completely agree with you, Silvio. And besides your current role at PARSEC, You're also a coordinator and lecturer at B Plus T Consulting, and you offer outstanding technical training techniques, online webinars, and classroom-based specific courses. So, how do you continue to learn to stay on top of things within your role, and what are the three unique skills that helped you become successful?
For to continue to learn and stay on top of things, uh, I have this vision from a respected samurai from Japan. From this year, he would be completing 500 years,
Mm-hmm.
and he said some things about this. What makes the difference in your fief or in your team or in your company? First, we have to always to acquire competencies or skills. We have to dedicate to it. We have to study to work hard. This is the first point. It's obvious because if we want to acquire good competencies, we have
Right.
to study a lot. The second
Mm-hmm.
is the commitment or responsibility to perform the tasks. So, for example, if I want to study something, I have to commit myself to study 2 or 3 hours per week at minimum to acquire a good understanding of a new knowledge, for example. The commitment or responsibility also helps because if we are in a company working for a customer and the customer understands that we are fully committed with with his project, he understands if something wrong happens and see that we do our best to accomplish. The third is
Mm-hmm.
something that usually comes from the personality. If we know how to overcome difficulties, we have usually it's from the experience, of course, experience of life.
Right.
So if you have suffered some difficulties and overcame those, not just winning the difficulties. Sometimes we just lose, and we have to understand, and we have to overcome this. We have to understand what happened and continue to to find or to grow as persons. So this is more related to personality. And
Right.
finally, and also after these three are very important, I would give the
Mm-hmm.
fourth. We have to be always well informed. We have to have information, good information. When we have good information, we can understand what is important. For example, what what are the topic trends in my field of knowledge that will be important in 2 or 3 years, and I want to focus my efforts in this field, specific field. Sometimes we are trying to, for example, to access a new customer, and if we know that this customer will have a new project within a year because he is like in the process of winning it. There is a specific time that we have to access this customer and show what we can provide to him in terms of a good project. So if I know that beforehand, before our competitors, that this customer will hire someone to do some a project, if I have the information, I can access him first
Mm-hmm.
and say what I have to say. Of course, there's a lot of other things related to this, but if we are well informed, we can avoid to, for example, be allied to the wrong person or the wrong samurai and be betrayed after this relation. So we have to be careful and
Mm-hmm.
be well informed.
Right. Yes, Silvio, you're completely right, and I agree with you. And also, I wanted to, wanted to know about a certain thing, like which is, as we are aware that technology is an ever-changing field, and we need to continuously learn and involve, keep yourself updated on skills. Likewise, Silvio, in your opinion, what is the most important piece of advice would you give to the next generation of students entering and preparing for the future infrastructure industry?
For the next generation, in my opinion, the most important now is to be prepared for changes and learn as much as possible. And of course, to keep learning all of the time. We are in a time that change comes very quickly. And of course,
Right.
we can't have every student or every person to be able to change fast and to
Mm-hmm.
be first users, for example. But we know that uh, changes are coming very fast. We feel this when we look back and see the communications evolution, then internet came, and then all of the software and intelligence are coming. So we have to be prepared because we saw this, for example, in cell phones application, mobile
Mm-hmm.
applications. We see that one application that is very important today, 5 years before, 5 years after, we know that this software is obsolete or nobody is using it anymore, and everything changed, and we have another way of communicate or so on. So I feel that uh, like me, I'm from the old school. I learned to
Mm-hmm.
do software on a paper. I learned to draw in a paper, and then suddenly I have to learn how to draw and model in a software in a computer, and then everything changes again. We have the cloud solutions, and we have to think how to change our process to the new reality. It's hard if you think that you have excelled in your profession and you don't have to change anything. You are the
Mm-hmm.
best now, so I don't have to change anything. In the future, even if we got some achievements and got some prizes for the excellence, we have to understand that this is very temporary and we have to move forward and fast because everybody's changing and the world is changing fast.
Right. I completely agree. And I change makes life exciting, right? It can be scary sometimes, but change is also what makes life so exciting, I believe.
Yes.
And and I'm sure this will certainly motivate our listeners. Well, thank you so much, Silvio, for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today. I'm sure our audience has many takeaways from your career journey.
Yes. Thank you, Mavis, for your invite. This is very interesting to tell things that usually we don't tell the customer or other. It's only in a talk like this that we can tell these things and share these experiences. Thank you.
Yes, Silvio. And that brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you for listening to the Infrastructure Star Talks. If you enjoy our show, leave us a review and recommend topics that you would love to hear in our next episode. Before I sign off, everyone make sure to follow us on Bentley Education and on social media websites. Until then, this is Mavis signing off. We'll meet again soon in another exciting episode with another infra grow from the world of infrastructure.